Welcome to episode 53 of the IT Fundamentals Training Series. This is your host, Mark Haupt. Today, we're going to get into chapter 6 and get an overview of software development. Welcome to the IT Fundamentals Training Series. Again, this is your host, Mark Haupt, and we're into chapter 6 today on page 325 in your book. We're looking at software development. And the things that we're going to be talking about today is just an overview of the chapter. And I'm trying to understand how this fits in with the overall IT fundamentals. So we're going to be looking at, first of all, if you look at page 325, you're going to be looking at comparing and contrasting notational systems. Now, those are some big words there, notational systems. Really what we're doing here is we're taking a look at different types of underlying code, if you will, on the system. So we're going to look at binary, which is quite frequently is just looking at the numbers, the ones and the zeros, the bits and the bytes, and things like that. So we look at a table 6.1 to understand that. We look at hexadecimals and decimal coding and understanding how computers interact with that. And then what they call data representation, which is using ASCII or Unicode type of coding, if you will, or encoding, I guess would be the right word for those, that you can use that to understand how computers will talk to one another, much like binary. In section 1.2 of chapter 6, we're going to take a look at compare and contrast the fundamental data types and their characteristics. So we're going to look at characters, in other words, the alpha characters, A, B, C, D, and so on and so forth. We're going to look at strings, where strings are a series of letters, numbers, things like that strung together. Then we'll look at numbers and the differences between integers and floats. And so if you've ever taken a math class before, I'm sure you're familiar with integers. We're going to add the word floats or the system of floats to that. And then we're going to look at how we can search a database with Boolean type of searching, which is that's when you type in a keyword and another keyword together. And we're going to do that a little bit with Google and understand how we can better use Google to search through, as well as do that in a database. So we'll be looking at Microsoft SQL or SQL SQL statements in general, where we have Boolean searches. So we'll take a look at that and how that impacts software development. In 4.1, we're going to look at compare and contrast programming languages. And so we're going to look at scripting languages. I've already introduced you to that a little bit with the batch scripting or .bat file extension that we looked at in chapter 5 under software applications. We're also going to look at scripted languages and markup languages. And markup languages are the ones that we use on the internet. So like HTML is hypertext markup language. So we're going to take a look at those as well as compiled and programming languages, query languages. Again, that goes into the databases and how to retrieve data from different types of systems. So we'll also be looking at given a scenario, use programming organizational techniques and interpret logic. And so we're going to be looking at how you would organize the code that you develop into logical segments. We'll be looking at flow charts and how data flow diagrams work in sequence with one another. We'll also be looking at logical components and what they call branching or looping when the code is going off into a branch, or if it just simply loops back and forth and repeats itself. So we've taken a look at that a little bit when I popped up if you remember back, I think on episode 48 or 49, where I brought open a browser, a Chrome browser in particular, and on the right-hand side, we showed where all the different code was for the website that we were on. And if we clicked on one of the items that said script, That's the type of thing we're talking about there with branching and looping and things like that. And then finally, we're going to look at explaining the purpose and the use of programming concepts like using variables and constants. And variables and constants, the differences of those is kind of like an if and statement, if you will. So if a certain criteria exists and another criteria exists, then you've got the variables in there or the constants. We'll look at containers, which is how data is stored and the different what they call vectors that are with that. And then we'll also look at functions and objects, which objects are really the properties and attributes of the code that you have within the system. So that's what we're going to look at in chapter 6. And we're going to go at a high level over the overview of that, starting with our next episode. So this is episode 53. So with episode 54, we'll get started with that and talk about it. So hopefully this is just an overview of chapter 6 to get you prepared. One of the things that you can do to prepare for chapter 6 is to go take a look at some of what they call Google Cheats or Google Cheat codes. They're not really cheats, but that's the term that they're used. It's some of the Boolean searching and some of the Google searching that's out there will help you define how you can better search inside of a particular website or maybe inside of a particular file type. So like if, for example, if you wanted to find all the PDF documents that met a certain word criteria inside Google, it might have that, it will have that cheat code there. So you can go and look at that. So those are some things that you can start looking at to get prepared for chapter 6 here. But we'll get on to doing that software development here in chapter 6. I hope you will have a good opportunity to join us and maybe even write some of your own code, maybe inside of a batch file or other scripting language like that, or maybe even pull up an HTML editor and start doing some web design, if you will, with code as well. I will also introduce you to serverless type of code development that's out there, and so we'll take off with this application development, software development piece here in our next episode, in episode 54. All right, wrap up episode 53. We'll talk to you later. Thanks much.